Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to another session with Hills and Tech. You are all very much welcome. How is everybody doing today? Hello. It's good to see everybody. My name is Beatrice. I'm the community manager at Hills and Tech. So you're all very much welcome. It's good to see you again. If you joined us for the 30 Days AI Challenge, you must have met me before. So let's dive into it. Today we are here continuing our Alumni Series. Our Alumni Series monthly webinars. We hold them every month. These sessions are usually facilitated by members of the community, that is alumni. So an alumni is someone who has taken one or more courses with us here at Hills and Tech. So you are all very much welcome. And if you are just joining us for today, this is your first time joining us for any of our sessions, you're very much welcome. Just to give you a brief introduction, Hills and Tech is a platform dedicated to closing the gender gap between women and technology. We offer several courses, several non-coding courses like business analysis, data analytics, data governance, product design, product marketing, project management, and so many others, including AI consultancy and, similar to today's topic, no-code automation courses. That just means you don't need to know how to code to stay relevant in today's job market. So you're all very much welcome. Just a brief introduction about our founder, Mrs. Bisola Alaibi. Having started her career in tech 10 years ago, and never touched a line of code and witnessed the gender gap between women and technology, watched families lose their jobs to digitization, and she decided to do something about it in 2020. So she set up a platform where women who have increasingly become breadwinners can acquire non-coding technical skills and apply for high-quality jobs in less than 2 months. Yes, you read that right. Less than 2 months. The result has been phenomenal, and we are committed to doing so much more. We are fully online and have from over 25 countries. And this has been made possible by the virtue of hands-on training and the quality of facilitators who ensure our students get value and also monitor them during interview sessions. So our students come from various backgrounds, such as stay-at-home moms, undergraduates, lawyers, and even people who wish to immigrate to other countries, amongst others. By 2030, our aim is to have trained over 100 million African women through paid and free sessions, such as this. Our Alumni Series sessions are free, so please do well to share this link and invite as many people as you possibly can. Our students work in various fields at various companies, some of which you may know. And that brings us to today's session, which is Work Smarter and in More, how to automate your workflow in 2026. If you joined us for our 30 Days AI Challenge, you would recognize some of the tools that our facilitator is going to be taking us through today. And if you did not, that's okay. You're very much welcome. We have so much in store for you today. So today's session is going to be a presentation and a practical session. So please be ready to try out things as you're learning as well. And then we'll go into the Q&A session. So as the class is going on, please leave your questions in the comment section and we'll definitely get to them. Okay, so that brings me to facilitator for today, a very amazing alumni. Yes, that means she has taken courses with Hills and Tech before, and she is here to share her knowledge with us. So let's give a round of applause for Mercy Nwabudike. So Mercy Nwabudike is a seasoned operations professional with over a decade of experience building brands, amplifying influence, and streamlining systems and processes across Nigeria and beyond. Her career began in marketing and communications, where she led brand strategy, messaging, and audience engagement, and has since evolved into operations, leadership, and workflow automation, supporting organizations to scale with structure and efficiency. She holds both a bachelor's and master's degree in communications and is deeply passionate about helping individuals and organizations operate with clarity, excellence, and purpose. Messi is also a content creator, producing inspirational videos that encourage intentional living, growth, and personal development. She currently serves as the Director of Operations at Luminous Global, a personal development and transformational coaching company in the UK dedicated to helping individuals grow in faith, purpose, and impact. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Can we all give our reactions? Let me see your emojis as we welcome our facilitator for today, Miss Mercy Nwabudike.
Hello. Hi, Beatrice.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you
Hello.
so much for joining us. You're very
Thank
welcome.
you for having me.
Of course. Let me see your reactions in the comments, everyone. Okay, so to start off today's session, we're going to start off with just two questions for you while we get into it. So,
Okay.
why and how did you get into automation?
Okay. So I for why it would be that of course I wanted to just expand my knowledge base, right, get to know more. As my profile read, I'd been in marketing for a while, so I'm very used to marketing automations, email sequences, and all of those things, right? But I wanted to take that a step further and learn how to use tools that can use automate other kind of processes, right? Besides just communication flow. And my career has moved from just communications into operations. So I'm always on the lookout for how to streamline processes, make things easier for not just me but for my team as well. So I'm the kind of person that when I see something being done over and over again and it's taking a lot of time, I'm always looking for a way to sort that out so that we can save time as a team. So that's actually what led me into, or that's why I got into automation. What was the second question again, Beatrice? Are you still there? So for how, I think the question was why and how. So how I think your network, but for how is basically looking for a place where I could learn the tools for automation very easily. And then I had been following Hills and Tech. Can you hear me? Okay, I've been following Hills and Tech. I assume everybody can hear me. I've been following Hills and Tech for a while, and I had, noted the no code automation class or course, and I knew that that was the way to go to take my knowledge from just marketing kind of automation into other using other tools to automate processes across different industries. So I think that's a summary of why I got into automation and how, and why. Another why is because I wanted to, apart from expanding my knowledge, because I wanted to make more money, of course, give myself an edge over other people, other women, and just have more opportunities. Basically, and I know that's one thing that automation has done for me so far. Beatrice, are you there?
Okay, yes, thank you so much for that. And the second question I have for you is, what is the greatest benefit automation has brought to you?
Okay, I think the greatest benefit is that it has opened my eyes to opportunities, honestly, because the opportunities in automation, they are mind blowing. They are mind, and it just takes you even mastering just one of the tools. Now, let's talk of when you can master like two or three of the tools. The opportunities are mind blowing. right? So I think that's one thing. And another thing is, of course, besides my 9 to 5, I because I have the automation skill, I'm always on the lookout for freelance roles, opportunities where I can put my knowledge to work and make more money. So that's one of the things I would say automation has done for me. It has opened my mind, expanded possibilities for me, and created more opportunities for me to make more money beyond my 9 to 5.
Okay, that is amazing. So just to reiterate, it has opened your eyes and let you know that there's so much more you can achieve with with the skills that you have right now.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much. So we're just going to dive right into the presentation. So I'm going to bring share your slides right now and hand over to you, but I'll be here throughout the session. So
No
everyone,
problem.
please have your question, leave your questions in the comment section at any point in time. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So, as we know, we're talking about working smarter and earning more, right? Um, Hold on. I'm trying to get my slides up. Okay. All right. So, that's what we're talking about. And one of the things I want us to know is that automation revolution is here, and that has been made possible by AI. We know that everybody's talking about AI, and I know that a lot of people say a lot of things about AI. AI is this, AI is that. There are a lot of misconceptions, honestly, about AI because AI is here to stay, and the faster we accept that fact, the better for us because it makes you interested in AI, interested in the tools, interested in the opportunities. So AI is here to stay, right? So um, most of the automation tools, right, they are powered by AI, right? And it's now possible for businesses and individuals to, leverage automation tools because of AI, right? That's one. Number two, a lot of businesses have claimed and have reported that by using automation, right, they have achieved a 20 they've achieved a 20 to 30% increase in productivity, right? Another thing is that time has been reclaimed. A lot of professionals before would spend 40% of time on repetitive tasks, but now with automation, that all of that has changed. So the people that will earn more in today's world are not necessarily people that will work harder, right? They're those that can build systems that will work for them, not just for them, but for businesses, even when you are not actively working. So I wanted to just put that there, right? So I want to also touch on deep work and shallow work. Now, there's a difference between deep work and shallow work, right? So deep work basically requires you focusing, focused thinking, expertise, and all of that. But for shallow work, you see things that are not really mentally tasking, but are repetitive, logistical. And deep work also requires creates the most value and income because that's where you see strategy, creative work, client relationship, problem solving and all of that. And one of the things that we need to point out right now is that deep work cannot be delegated to machines, but shallow work is the kind of work that is ideal for automation. So things like scheduling, data entry, invoicing, follow-ups are things that you can, and a lot more that you can just, automate. Now, things like strategy, right? Creative work requires you to sit and think. That kind of deep work is not what you can automate. So let's just put that out there. But one of the things that we should take note of is the fact that a lot of entrepreneurs, businesses, and founders are in search of people that can, build systems that will help carry out the shallow work for them so that they have more time for deep work, right? And that's where automation specialists come to play. Moving on, I also want to highlight some of the problems that businesses will pay you to solve as an automation expert or specialist, right? So it cuts across different industries, honestly. For example, in sales and lead management, there's some businesses that have the problem of they get leads, right? But because there's no automation in place, responses are delayed and they are inconsistent. And then you see follow-ups depending on memory. Somebody forgets something, and because of that, they can't really scale the way they want to, right? And because of that, There's also no clear pipeline to say this is where the lead is going to, right? So this is a problem, and with automation, it can be solved. Same for customer experience. You see clients, some businesses encounter problems like clients waiting for too long to get replies or to onboard the clients, and with automation, all of these things can be sorted out, right? And then for operations and admin, which is where I kind of what I do for a living majorly, right? You see problems like people entering data manually into spreadsheets, or invoices and receipts being generated from scratch or manual. All of these things can be automated. And as it's automated, it saves time. It saves time for the business, and it helps the business to stay more productive and to also scale very fast. And also for project and team management, what most times for projects, because I work with projects as well, it's not that the project cannot be achieved most times, just that tasks that are assigned to that project most times, they fall through the cracks, and deadlines are missed, and all of that. All of these problems that businesses solve, right, with automation, with the skill of automation, you can solve them. Basically, you can solve them. Moving on, now I'll talk about some common objections that people kind of think about when they hear automation. They think, oh, it's technical. So they say, oh, I'm not technical enough. Now, with automation, right, it's no code, right? You don't need any form of coding to be involved in automation. So it doesn't require any form of technicality. And that question is, what if something goes wrong? I mean, most of the systems and tools that we use for automation, right, they are basically
Hello, everyone. Just give us 1 second, please. Just give us 1 second. Our facilitator will be with us
sorry
shortly.
about that. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can. Your, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
All right, I'm back now. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Okay,
no worries.
so so another common objection is that it takes too long to set up. It doesn't take long at all. Between 30 to 60 minutes approximately. Some of them, some automations take longer, but I want you to understand it's not something that takes too long of your time, something that you can do within few minutes. And I'm going to show us some examples later on. So, right, so some other people will say, oh, my industry is too unique to automate. Truth is, there's no industry where automation will not work. That's the truth. So there's this trend that has been online on Instagram majorly, where people say, oh, they say AI will take my job, AI cannot take my job. Right. So things like I think I saw one where a caterer, a baker, was showing how she was doing her work, and she was like, AI cannot take the work. Definitely AI cannot come and cook for you. But in terms of admin task, like responding to your customers, and AI can do that, automation can do that. And that one I saw was a medical doctor saying that AI cannot take his job. Definitely. But there are some parts of medicine, right? There's the admin work there that automation can help with. So one of the things that helped me grow in automation is this. Every time I have a task to do, one of the first questions I ask myself is, can a tool do this for me? Especially when it's something I realize that it's taking time to do. So for example, I'll give an example. There was a time where I had to transcribe a particular some audios for something. I realized that it was taking a lot of time, and I discovered a tool. Right, somebody told me about it, and I went to check it out. It's called TurboScribe, and with that tool, I was able to transcribe a very long audio, kind of transcribe audio and video within a very short time. So my point is, nothing is too. There's no industry where automation cannot come to play. That's the truth. So every time you have a task to do, as an automation specialist, the first question you can ask yourself is, can a tool do this task for me? And if the answer to that is yes, then is what you researching that tool, researching the kind of tool that will work for the task that you are being faced. So you don't need to even automate everything at once. You can start little by little, and you don't need to master all the tools in automation. There are a lot of tools, right? You can try to focus on one or two, learn them well, and then use them to scale from there. So moving on, right, I want to share three simple workflows that we can start with in automation. And the first one workflow is a communication and follow-up workflow, right? And I'm starting here because communication is universal. Almost every business sends emails, schedules meetings, follow up. And so what can you automate when it comes to communication and follow up, which is where I started automation, email sequences. So for the business I do my 9 to 5 in, for example, we have webinars, right? And the webinar is so automated that sometimes you don't even go live, right? Everything is set up from beginning to end. So once someone signs up for the webinar, for example, they get an email immediately, right? And that's been automated. After the email comes, they get, when the session is 2 or 3 days to the session, they get reminder emails, right? They get, when it's like 1 hour or 30 minutes to the session starting, they get another reminder email. Everything has been sorted out automatically, right? And even after the session, the follow-up emails are also set up automatically using different tools. There's Converse, MailChimp also helps with that. Even webinar kits too also helps with that. So also things like meeting scheduling, right, can be automated. You don't have to come and be chatting with somebody every time or saying, oh, when can we meet? You can just use Calendly, for example, to say, oh, these are the times I'm available, and whoever wants to meet with you can pick an appropriate time. You get a notification, no back and forth at all, right? You can also automate auto responses, right? Common queries that people ask concerning your business or concerning something can be automated. These are things that businesses are looking for. And once you have the skill of automation, you can sort that all out, right? Then even client onboarding as well, automatically ensuring that people sign up for something, they get their visits in their email, they are followed up, they get their welcome pack, and all of that. So I put some recommended tools for these as Calendly, ConvertKit, and MailChimp for email sequences, Zapier, Make, Front or Missy. Those ones actually work for inbox management. You have a large number of messages in your email inbox. So this is just a very simple workflow that you can start with. Now, next is admin and data entry, right? Now, this is where a lot of invisible time loss happens. People accept admin work, as just part of the job. But the truth is that by the time you start your Monday morning, checking emails and all of that, checking who has responded to a form, all of those things, it takes time. And before you know it, a huge part of your day is gone. So what can you automate when it comes to admin and data entry? You can automate form responses. Form responses automatically populate a spreadsheet or a data board or a base, whatever, right? Invoice generation can also be automated. Weekly reports, you can schedule your weekly reports to deliver into someone's email or their Slack message at a particular time on a particular day. Expense tracking can also be automated. I'm trying to open up our minds to the possibilities of automation. That's why I'm sharing these simple workflows. There are other kind of workflows, but we can start here, right? Recommended tools for setting up this kind of automation or this kind of workflow. We have Monday.com, we have Airtable, Zapier, Notion, Wave, Asana. The truth is that any business in 2026 that is still relying on people remembering to do things manually actually needs automation. And that's where you come in. That's where I come in, because everybody can learn automation, really. Then the third one I want to talk about is project management. I said earlier that most projects that don't succeed, right? It's not because people that are working on the project are not skilled enough. It's because most times something is missed, something is forgotten, and tasks fall through the cracks. But with automation, all of this can be solved, because you can, instead of following up everybody, when are you going to do this? When have you done this? You can set an automation to say, when a deadline is missed, send me an email with your automation software. Do you understand? When the day for delivery, you can set an automation like, okay, maybe the day for delivery is like Friday. You can set a reminder via an automation platform for the person that's supposed to deliver the task and for you as a team lead. You get, so progress reports can be delivered to clients on a particular day every time without lifting a finger. These are the possibilities that are in automation, and tools like Zapier also work here. Trello, Airtable, ClickUp, there are loads. And as I said, you don't have to learn everything. You can start with one and master it, and then move to the other ones as you move along, right? Now, the tools of the trade in 2026, I said there are many tools for automation, right? Many. There are trigger apps, but I have highlighted automation platforms. But trigger apps are basically where automation starts, and that can be anywhere. When we go into Zapier, for example, I will show you that you can automate. Zapier has over 7,000 apps and tools inside. So you can automate, you can start your automation from any app, depending on the kind of automation that you want to do. You can start to do, or when somebody fills a form, they get an email, something as simple as that. And they use platforms like Zapier, Make, N8N, Monday, Airtable. You can create all of these automations in them. Action apps are basically where your automation is, and it can be anything because automations vary from industry to projects, depending on what you want to do. And the good part of all of these tools is that they have an AI layer to them. It's good to learn what the tool is about, but all of them have an AI aspect of them, such that once you can describe what you want to automate, you can automate it, right? So I want to focus here now because I mean, this is like the topic of today, really. So how does automation translate to more income? Now, I have a 9 to 5, right? But on the side, I'm always on the lookout for automation contracts I can work on to make more money, right? So the first way is freelancing and consulting. If you go on Upwork, for example, you will find loads of people looking for an automation specialist to handle different things for them, as simple as even using ConvertKit to do something, for emails and all of that, or just Monday.com. They'll even tell you the specific tool that they need your skill in. So, as I said, you can master one tool. So you can be a freelancer, you can also be a consultant, consult for businesses to say, okay, this is what your business process looks like. With automation, I can make it better, streamline their process, make things better for them. Can also create and sell pre-built automation templates, right? You create a template down, businesses and individuals buy from you, and then they just put it into the tool and it works for them. Another thing that how automation translates into more income for everyone is basically career advancement and opportunities. Create more opportunities for you beyond what you have currently, right? Create more opportunities for you. I mean, it gives you an edge over your colleagues, for example. If your colleagues are still struggling with something and you come in as an automation specialist with the skills, you can do the same tasks they are doing faster, and they'll be wondering how you're doing. Because of that, it gives you an edge over them. So it provides you with career advancement and opportunities. And by doing that, you make more money. And also digital products, you can decide to create a product from automation, right? You can try to do an online course and you automate everything so that whether you are there or not, you're making your money. And what I really like is automation agency. I've seen a lot of people do this. 2 or 3 people come together, they're all skilled in different aspects of it. One can be skilled maybe Monday, and that one is skilled in Zapier, and they come together, right? They come together and they create an automation agency. They get briefs from clients. Clients tell them what their problems are. These are some problems that businesses face. The businesses come to them, explain what they are going through, and by doing so, they now come up with like a proposal and a strategy, an automation strategy to deal with all of those problems. So automation really brings translate into more income, right? Besides your 9 to 5, you can start a business from it. You can be a freelancer, and this list is not even exhaustive. There's a lot more ways that automation can help to translate into more income, right? So because I want us to practice on our own, even if you will not submit to me, right? So I want you, one of the ways you can get into automation by yourself is to write down your top 3 most repetitive tasks. At least this is like weekend. So by, let's say tomorrow or by Monday, be specific and then pick one of those tasks that really drains you. Something that you do over and over and over and over and again almost every week. With data entry, it could be responding to comments in IG if you have a business, something like that. Your social media manager, it could be responding to comments or DMs, and then Google an automation tool, and then spend like 20 minutes just exploring the tool. Most of these tools have free trial, at least for 7 days, for 14 days before you think of paying, right? So you can just start from there, sign up, and just build your first automation, play around it, Or if you want to take it a step further, Hills and Tech offers a course. Of course, you can start from there as well. But when you one of the things I wanted to say before I forget is that most of the tools, when you have clients, for example, if you're a freelancer, if you have clients where that are requesting you to work with certain tools, most time they already have the paid version of the tools. You don't necessarily have to pay, right? They just plug you into their tool, and from there you can do the work for them and move on, right? So now we will do a quick practical. I just want us to see the possibilities of the tools, right? I'm not going to be able to go so deep into everything, but I just want to show us what they look like and what is possible. Just a brief demo very quickly. So I'm going to share my screen so that you can see. I will start with monday.com. We'll start with monday.com. All right. All right. So I believe everybody can see my screen now. I believe everybody can see my screen.
One
Can you see
second, please.
Okay.
Okay, I can see your screen now.
All right. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to just explain what I've done here, and so that when we're done, you can just play around. Sign up is free. So I created a free account for this. Right. Okay, so this is monday.com, right? And it's a work management. They also have a CRM. If you look here, they have a CRM somewhere down there. They have a CRM as well, but I don't know why my cursor is hanging there. But they have a CRM as well. But this one I've signed up for now is for work management. Now this platform, right? You can use it to manage projects. You can use it to, as I said, there's a CRM part of it. You can use it to track projects. So I have created a form, right? Beatrice will send the link to us. Now I created a form that I've titled it Message Client Requests. Now, this is the main table. When you land in monday.com, most times, this place is empty. This side is empty. So you just create a workspace, you name it. If it's something that you're working on for a client, you name it. So that was how that was how I was able to create this, right? And then in this board or table, as we like to call it sometimes, there are two groups. I've grouped it as requests and completed requests. So you can see the first part is titled requests, and the second part is titled completed requests. Now, the thing is, what I've done here is when the form is filled, right, it lands here. It lands here. So you start to see, if you fill the form, you can please share the form link in the chat. So as you fill the form, this will be loaded. So I want us to please fill the form so that we can populate this first group, right? And then we can play around and see what's possible, right? So let's fill the form. As we fill the form, this will populate. I also wanted to show us some other aspects of it. There's the AI is called Sidekick. You can integrate different things into the platform, like different tools into the platform, right? You can integrate different tools into the platform, right? So this is Asana. If you want maybe updates to be sent to you in Asana, is there. There's Meta, there's Gmail. There are a lot of tools, right, inside here. But that's not where I want to show us majorly. But when you play around, you see it. So I've created 4 automations just on this board, and I'll explain them to us very quickly, right? Now, the first automation I created was that when anybody fills that form, because it will land in the first group I showed us, when an item is created, the automation will notify me. So I'll get a notification in my email. That way, I don't have to be checking monday.com every single time. I just get a notification in my email and I know that, okay, somebody has filled the form, so maybe I have to attend to it. Another automation I created was when an item is created, I have set an automation to say, I want the status of that item to be working on it. That means it's just going to be a working on it once it it's once a new item is created. And by a new item, I mean when a form is filled, basically. So let's fill the form so that we'll see this automation come to play. And that one is that when the status of the project or the request moves from completed, I want it to move the item from that first group or the first group I showed you to the second group. No, the first group I showed you, I'll go back there, was request, and the second one was completed request. So I want the status, when the status of an item on that on the request board changes, it moves to completed request group, right? The last one is when a status changes to completed, it notifies me, right? So those are the four automations I've created just in this table. I can see people what's the name, filling the form. Thank you very much for filling. So you can see now, one of the automation I said was that when an item is created, the status should be working on it automatically, and you can see it's already happening, right? So as you fill the form, so when you have maybe a project like this where they fill the form, you can always scroll down to assign responsibility. So let's say I have a team member that, based on the request that I have received, I want them to like work on it because that's their expertise. I just come here and I assign the responsibility. You can invite a new member via email, they'll be notified. I can even set a deadline, right? To say, oh, I want this thing complete by so date. Now, when I set the deadline, I can then go in my automation again and say, when this deadline is met, or when this deadline, when the time has passed for the deadline and I've not gotten an update, right? Send me a notification. That way I'm able to monitor everything without sending a text to say, oh, you've not submitted this thing. I don't need to do all of that, right? I don't need to be chatting and stopping anybody. Everything is said. They can see the deadline, they can see everything. If I don't want it to send to me via email, you can send to me via Slack, Asana. You can send to me via any communication channel that we use in my team, for example. So that's how it works, right? So I'm going to change the status of some of the items, like two, so that we see. One of the automations I said was that when the status changes from when the status changes from working on it to completed, it should move to the second board, or second group rather, right? So it moves to the second group. So I'm going to test that and see how that works. So let me do this one so that every other person's on it. So I'm changing the status to completed. So let's see what happens. See, it can show you an automation is running, right? So it would move. You can see that it has moved down to the second group. It was a mess, it was named, and it's giving me notifications in my email almost immediately. So I can see that, oh, something has happened here. I can go and check. So that's how it works, honestly. It's very simple, something that you can learn and practice over and over and over and over again, right? So if Idera Olua just came in right now from the form, so I can change her own now to completed again. It would move. It would move. See, automation is running, so it moves to completed request group. Very simple, right? Now, that now to show us here is that with Monday.com, there are different views. As I said, what I'm saying right now is not exhaustive, but at least I want to show us how, so that we just have a picture of how automation works. Different views. So I'm going to change or add a view, right? The different views. Right now, what we're seeing is a table view. If I want to change it to a chart view, so that if I have a client, I want the person to see a snapshot of what the project is looking like, they will see. So I'm going to test that right now. So the chart, right? So this is a chart view, it's loading up, right? See, now you can see working on it and completed. I can export this, I can send to someone, I can filter to say, okay, I only want the project to show just completed. It's all encompassing, right? Another view I can say is that, okay, I want a calendar view, so that I can see when I come into my Monday.com, maybe for the first time, I can see what we're working on in a week. So this is calendar view right now. So it's loading up, right? So I can see, okay, this is when the project came in. Oh, I need to work harder, maybe. So it just shows you different views, and with that, it helps you to manage your projects more easily. And automations can be set for different things. Automation is basically saying, when this happens, do this. You can filter, so that's why I created 4 automations. You can create more than 4. You can create as many as you want. and you can turn them off and on. So it's not cast in stone. If you make a mistake, you can delete it and redo it over and over again. So I want to show you how the create automation works, right? When this happens, do this. So that's what automation is. When this happens, if you want to filter, put a condition, you are free to do that as well. So that's what Monday.com looks like, right? It is not all encompassing what I've done. There's a lot, but these are just like few ways that automation works, even in Monday.com. I will share another tool with us that will work on that one. I will do the automation from scratch so that we see from start to finish. So I'll stop sharing for Monday.com. I want to move to Zapier. I want to move to Zapier. We're going to have to fill another form, but don't fill yet. Don't share the form yet until I'm done with the automation. If not, it won't work. So I want to share my screen again. Zapier. Now, Zapier is actually one of my favorite tools for automation. All right. So I opened this Zapier, I think 2 days ago. So that's why I say have 11 days, right, to try the paid feature. So I can do like a lot, right? So if you are doing like a consultation business, you can start to pay, because I mean you have clients and you are charging them, so you can do that. Now, Zapier too, you can create a form. As you can see, you can create tables. There are AI agents. The AI agent here is called Copilot. In Monday.com, it's called Sidekick. You can chat up the AI agent, but it's good to know the tool for yourself as well, right? So we're creating a Zap. That's what it's called in Zapier, right? So what I want to do, automation I want to create now is when someone fills a form, right? I want them to get an email. I want them to get an email immediately. If I don't want them to get that, if I don't want them to get the email immediately, I can also delay. There's a delay feature in Zapier so that it doesn't look very automatic or machine, like a machine is doing it. You can do that as you can say, okay, maybe respond to them in 30 minutes. You can do all of that, right? So the trigger, so there's always in every automation, there's a trigger and there's an action. The trigger is that thing that starts the automation, and the action is that thing you want the automation to do. Now, in between all of this, you can have conditions. For example, if I have a form that has different age grades, so let's say I have a form, maybe something like the form you filled now, and I put age range, and there's maybe 18 to 20, 21 to 25, 31 to 35. I can add a filter somewhere to say, I don't want to respond to everybody. I want to respond to only those in certain category. Maybe say the category that has an age range of 21 to 25. That's how detailed automation can be. But I want to create a simple automation now. And automation is when people fill a particular form, right? Which I will let Beatrice know where she should send it. When they fill a particular form, send them an email. So this is it. We're going to start now. Now you can see over 7K apps and tools in Zapier. Now, if I type just form, I want you guys to see. If I type just form, there are different kinds of forms. So it doesn't matter which platforms that you are using, or which platform your client is using for their form, right? It can even be a webhook, like a form embedded in a website that you want to use to do your automation. It doesn't really matter. But for the purpose of this test, I'm using Google Form, which I have already created, right? So I want to trigger something from the Google Form, right? So the trigger, I want when a form is filled, they get an email. That's simple automation I want to create. So I choose a trigger event, and that event is new form response, right? So now my Gmail is already connected. If you want to ask you to connect your Gmail, you choose. It's very simple to do. You connect your Gmail. You can change it if it's not from here. Now you have to choose a form. So for example, I have 5 Gmail accounts. I will choose the Gmail account where the form I created is, right? So after I do that, I click continue, right? And so the form, I have to ensure that the form is properly named so that I find it easily. So I click here for the form. I already named the form Message Client Request. So I just click here and I click continue, right? So it will even test the trigger. If it's not correct, it will show, and you can always go back and edit. So it's not something to be scared about at all. I like automation because it stretches my brain, honestly, it does. And when a mistake is made, you will find you have to test and test and test So you get it right. So as you now have more experience, as you gain more experience, you get better at it. And that's how it is, honestly. So we test our trigger. If it is going to work, it will give us a tick. So it's picking up a record in the form. So we just go with continue, continue. So that first step is done. Let me go off so that we see. See, there's a tick, there's a green tick here to say it has gone. Now that's the trigger that we want. So the action now is for you to send an email, right? So if we want to use MailChimp, we want to use ConvertKit, they are different, they are all here, right? But for the purpose of this test, we're using Gmail. I just want to show us how simple automation can be. So Gmail, once again, you connect your Gmail is already connected. Then you choose an action event. Now, there are different action events, as you can see here. There's send email, there's reply to email. For the purpose of this one, I'm saying send email. Right. Now, so we now click continue, and you now have to now map out your fields. Right. So the tool is where it's going to, and is variable, right? So it can be, so let me show us what I mean. So is the respondent's email, right? See your co-pilot, your AI is also giving you suggestions. So it could be the respondent's email, it could be the email, anyone you want, but so in this session means email, right? So we put that there, and then we move on. All this copy BCC is not necessary. Now, from where is the email coming from? I'll just use my normal email, and then we move on. From name, if you want to write the name of your company, it's not necessary. If you want to write where they should reply to, it's not necessary, but you can still put it. Subject, okay, thank you for contacting us, or for contacting me, anyone, right? And then in your body, which is the message, you just say hello. You can map it out to put the person's name so that it's personalized. So because in that form that Beatrice will share, not yet, but very shortly, the person's name is there. Okay, so I continue with my email, my body of my email, and I write, thank you for contacting us. We will get back to you in 24 hours. Now, these are the kind of things that you see when you maybe sign up for something, or you fill a form for a job and almost immediately it has landed. And it's just a recognition of the fact that, okay, we've seen your form or we've seen your application. This is what happens underneath. That's why we do that. And or that's what happens underneath. That's why we get those kind of emails. So thank you for contacting us. We'll get back to you in 24 hours. Regards, Mercy. Yeah, so if you want to add an attachment, maybe like if it's a client and you want to add like terms and conditions, you can see attachments, you can add it, right? And then you click continue. If there's anything wrong, it will show. So it's saying something is wrong, right? Still hold on with sending that form. I want to test myself first. So what I always do, I try to test whatever I'm doing myself first before I now put it. That's why I say you should hold on, especially with Zapier. So we'll go back and see what our configuration, what is wrong with that configuration. We'll remove this one, and we'll put, there was one that was saying respondent email. Let's check if that one will go through. And then we continue. Tests. So it went through, so we can publish. Now, Beatrice, still hold on with sending the form, please. I want to test the form myself. Okay, so hold on, please.
Okay.
So this is the form. I'm not sure you can see, but I'm trying to test the form myself to see if the automation is working before I now ask you guys to fill it and then to see if you get the email as well. So I put it here. Let me share this tab so that you see what I'm doing. So Mercy, I put an email address. Let me use this one. Everything has to be correct for the automation to go. You can see settings in Zapier that if something is wrong, it should still go. But for the Gmail, for the email, it will not work that way. But for things like misspelling of name, doesn't really matter. That's what I'm trying to say. So I can say I need help with my CRM setup. That's why I'm reaching out to Mercy as a client, and then I submit. I want to see if I'll get that email. If I don't get it and there's something wrong with my automation, Zapier will notify me. So let me check. I'm checking my own email. Checking my email. It hasn't come yet. It hasn't come yet. It hasn't come yet. Let me show you some automation alerts that I got from monday.com. See, because I use this account to set it up. You can see. You can see when a new item was created, I got a notification, as I said when I was sharing monday.com. So I'm still waiting to receive that email. If it doesn't come, I'll decide what's okay. So Zapier has told me now that there's a possible error, which happens honestly, and it's good that you know that it happens. So all those, is it technical? It doesn't. So we just go to edit this app and now decide what was wrong. So we go back there. Hold on, please. Can you guys still see my screen? Beatrice, can you please help me confirm?
Yes, yes, we can see your screen.
All right, perfect. So let me close this. Okay. Can you still see my screen now?
Um, you're not sharing your screen.
Okay, I'm coming. Hold on. I will go back there shortly. Okay. You'll see my screen shortly. I must have clicked something mistakenly. All right. All right. So it was showing an error, so I want to correct the error. So let's fix the error. This is it in the Zap I created earlier. Right. So it said the gist Gmail step hit, I did this very intentionally so that we can see that this happens. So we're going to fix it. So configure. Right. So there's no data here. That's why it didn't go through. So we're going to change. Our mapping was wrong. Right. We're supposed to pick the text mapping from the form, not just a respondent email, because that won't give us any data. So let me edit this app so that we can correct that. After that, we'll fill the form and then we'll see that we'll all get the email. So email, we'll map again. We'll map again. So because the email in the form is a text response, we will do email, and then that's all we're changing. And then we click continue. And then a message was sent. It went through publish. So it has updated the version. I can just say Mercy's client requests as the name of the Zap. This is just what I'm showing you is just a tiny weeny bit of what Zapier can do, honestly. I'm going to just see how automation works. So I will fill the form again. And after I fill the form and it works, we will all fill the form and we will all get the email. So Mercy, let me try another email. Help with my CRM. And then you click submit. All right, so I'm going to check my email. Once I get it, I will let you know so that you can then fill the form as well. All right. I would let you know. Just give me a few minutes. Still waiting to get the email. I used this email, so let me just go there and see if it has come. Okay, it has come through now. Because you can please share the Zapier form, everybody. So fill the form. You will get the email that we just created in this app. Fill the form, please. Can you hear me? Have you shared the link with them?
Yes, yes, I've shared the link.
Please share the link to the Zapier form I sent to you with everybody. Let them fill the form, and you get a message or an email from me. Please let's fill it up and let me get responses. When you get the email, just let me know.
Okay. Uh, okay. I think people are still filling the form.
Okay,
While
that's
we're
fine.
waiting, while we're waiting, we had some questions earlier.
Okay,
Can I read them
okay.
out?
Yes, please
Okay.
go ahead.
So, okay. Question from Be Intentional says, I'm curious about the automation agency. Where would I find similar people to work with?
Okay, so I think it's okay. So I think one person I know that does this thing, right? She is an expert automation specialist, and she has trained people, right? So she just has like three people that from people that she has trained, and each of the people in her agency they specialize in one particular tool. One person is very good with Monday.com, another person is very good at Airtable. I think there are three or four. I'm not sure now, and that's how they work. Excuse me. So she trained them herself, right? If you do maybe a course with somebody, for example, maybe the heels and tech course, we usually are put in a group and two or three of you decide that okay, want to come together and set up an agency. That's how it works. So it could be your friend, it could be people that you decide to train, and once you train them, they become part of your agency, or you start agency yourself first, get interns, you train, and from that you can start it up. So it depends on how you want to go about it, honestly. So you can try to train people, can try to collaborate with an expert already, or someone that you did the course to together. Anyhow you decide to go about it, that's how it works, right? um, I hope that answers the person question, but that's what I would say for the agency thing. You just need to collaborate with experts like you, or experts that or people that you train, and then you start to go from there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, yes, I can see a response from Be Intentional. It says, thank you for
Okay.
answering. Okay, another question is by Alat Azitat. If I
Okay.
want people to make payments when filling a form, is that possible?
Yes, it is. It's possible. Um, on Zapier, there's Stripe, for example, right? You may even decide not to use a form, right? Because you can just say, okay, when payment is made for a part, because in Stripe or Seller, you have products, right? So you can say when payment is made for a particular product, they should send. Zapier can help you. You can create an automation where they send a receipt immediately. Those platforms have their own receipts, but if you want, let me give you an example. There was something I was working on a few months ago where we're trying to, okay, so generally when people make payment on Stripe, they all get receipts automatically. But we wanted a system whereby only those that make payments for the yearly subscription get a receipt, right? And an email receipt, not just a receipt or an invoice, like an email receipt sent to them because their own payment was a bit higher. Now, Stripe as a platform cannot achieve that. I had to use Zapier to achieve it. So I now created an automation way to say that when people pay for the yearly subscription, they get a particular email with the attachment of the yearly payment receipt. We're doing that because we're having some issues. Some people will pay, will not notice, and all of those things. So when we did that automation, it helped. It has helped so far. You understand? So somebody said that she has received the email. Fantastic. That's how simple automation tools. I just want to show us something in Zapier before we wrap up, right? I've taken a lot of time. So, but you can add a payment an account number or something to your form. But I feel like you don't even need a form for that. If it's payment you want to receive, you can just use a payment platform. Zapier has a lot of those. So let me go back to Zapier. Let me go back to Zapier. Right. So wait, let me use here. All right. Let me share this tab. All right. So I wanted to show you. something on Zapier. If I want to add a step, I just want to add a step so that you see the payment platforms that are there. Stripe is here. Stripe is here. See Stripe. That's a payment platform. Let's see if Seller is here. Seller is here as well. Those are like very popular, two very popular. I know that there are more, but these are the popular ones that people use. So you can set up an automation to say when payment is made. Of course, you have to plug in your seller or Stripe account into Zapier, and then say when a particular payment is made for a particular product, set up this automation. Now let's show us something else, right? Let me delete this. Our automation I created, and not if we fill the form, you would have gotten the email by now, right? So now, apart from this, is a very basic, trust me, automation, basic. But it's funny how this basic automation can still make you money because some businesses don't still know how to do it. And by being in this session today, you've learned one thing at least. You can just go and sign up for Zapier and try it yourself. And let's show us other things that Zapier can do. Now, there are other tools in Zapier that can help you. If, for example, I want my trigger action to do two things at once, right? There's parts. Parts can help you achieve that. There's a filter. If I want, I mentioned when you have like a form that has age range, and I want to send email to particular set of people that fill the form. Not everybody. The filter will help you do that. There's also delay. I don't want my message to come in automatically. I want it to be delayed by 2 days, by 1 day, by 30 minutes. The delay feature will help you as well. So it's a lot. And as I said, we can't exhaust it in 1 hour, right? So I will stop sharing now and I will see if there's any other questions. And then we can call it a day. Beatrice, over to you, please.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Mercy. Everyone, if you do have more questions, kindly drop them right now. But if there aren't any, we can go ahead and round up. Thank you so much for facilitating today's session. We have learned a lot, especially the three simple workflows that we should be able to incorporate into. And thank you for sharing your amazing knowledge with us. And can we just go over the simple assignment that you gave earlier? What
Okay,
we should do? Yes.
let me share my screen again. Can you help me with my slides again from your end, please?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay,
can see a
so
slide.
okay, I've gone back. So this is just, as I said, this is like basic and it's for you. It's not even for just look at what you do at work. If you're a business owner in your business, the first that mentioned the payment thing, think about Google it too. It doesn't have to be Zapier, it can be Make or any other one that you feel works best for you, right? Write down your top three most repetitive attacks. Write them down, things that you're always doing every week. If it's data entry, whatever it is, write those three down. Then pick the one out of those three things that drains you the most. And then Google an automation. So if you don't want to work with the ones I've mentioned, Google one and maybe watch a video on how to set it up. Everything is available right now. And then sign up for a free trial. Most of them come with free trials, and then build your first automation, something simple to just reduce the workload on that particular task that drains you the most. That's the assignment, right? And for me, that's I've called it a day. I've showed us a lot of things
Yes.
already.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. So sorry to everyone. I know we exceeded the 1 hour mark, but just for a few minutes. Thank you, Mercy. We really
Thank
appreciate the
you.
time that you
Thank
have
you.
taken today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for showing up today and interacting with us and trying the practical sessions. Be intentional, Alat Azizat. Thank you so much for your questions and your contribution. And this is where we come to the end of today's session. Please look forward to more from the Alumni Series and so many more webinars that we do here at Hills and Tech. Today we learned a little bit about automation. And just to let you know, you can sign up, you can register for our no code automation class for here at Hills and Tech. The link is actually in the chat box, so you can go ahead and click the link, or you can visit our website our Instagram page to stay up to date with more information. We have more courses coming up next week, starting next week, so you don't want to miss this new cohort that's about to start. Project management, AI consultancy, starting next week. So thank you, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you all in our next session. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Messi.